I'm doing pop culture, entertainment, Depth vs. Heard, things like that. If you're following Depth vs. Heard, you might know the big elephant in the room right now with the news is what's up with Amber. Last we heard, she was in Spain, few reports here and there. She was being sued by her insurance company, but once the appeal went through, we really heard almost no news about Amber. Now, I've got a theory on this. And what I think is, first of all, whatever's going on and her silence is probably not her idea. She probably got advice from somebody who's a lot smarter than her and she's sticking with it. And I think that person has the right idea. Now, you see Aquaman 2 there, and obviously I think it's all connected as part of the goal for what they're doing. Now, if you think about it, if you really put yourself in her shoes, the one thing she's got left in the industry is she will be in Aquaman 2 as far as we know. It seems that by contract, they've got to keep her in at least for some screen time, whatever it is. Now, in my opinion, my personal theory, maybe yours too, I think Amber's somebody who really wanted to be famous, really wanted to be in the Hollywood circle, really put herself out there, virtue signaled, went woke, things like that. And I don't think she's ready to just give up and say, that's it. This court case happened. It's all over for me. I'm just going to, go away silently. She's not the type, and she doesn't have the skills to do anything else, to start a new career and go with something. I still think, while at least she's in her 30s here, she's going to try to stay in Hollywood. Now, if she came out after the appeal, after the case, and kept swinging and talking and talking and talking, probably it would have made it worse. And again, I think somebody's coaching her and telling her to get off social media and keep her mouth shut. Now, here I think is why. I think they want the general public, the people around the core circle of Johnny fans, to forget all about it. They want it to be something that happened in the news, and when Aquaman 2 comes out, a year after the case has ended, it's not going to be on people's mind. They'll be like, yeah, she was in that case. She did that stuff to Johnny, but oh, I don't know. That was then, and haven't heard a word from her since. Maybe I'll go check out the movie. Maybe she's different now. I think the strategy is to keep quiet, and it's the right thing because now channels covering her, news sources heavily covering her, like The Blast, the Daily Mail, YouTubers and things like that are going to have to kind of swim out in the open ocean on their own and find other things to do. Now, you could probably rehash some old content, some old video clips, things like that, some throwbacks, which I think here and there will happen. But if she stays silent and stays out of the news, nothing new can come up, and inevitably, these platforms are going to have to go a separate way and not report on her, or report on her so little that it doesn't really affect the general public so much anymore, and it's just really the hardcore Johnny fans. Now, she's never going to get the forgiveness, the ticket sales, or anything from the hardcore fans, or I should say, the people who really know the details and understand what happened, but the general public can forget. And I think they're hoping, when I say there, I mean whoever's coaching her is hoping they'll forget. And then in the best case scenario, here's what happens. Everyone forgets, or 80%, 70% forget. Aquaman 2 comes out, it makes a lot of money, which it might. And then Warner Bros. Or anybody else like Disney, big players, are like, huh, look at that. Amber got this backlash. All these Johnny fans said this stuff. This petition came out and everything. But the movie made 900 million, maybe even a billion, whatever it is. Then they're thinking, you know what? Maybe it won't be that bad if Amber's in the next one. Maybe we'll put her in something else. Maybe we'll just let her back in because all in all, the court case didn't really affect it so much. And the whole thing is, if she stays silent, the criticism and negativity over the next year, while the movie's, getting ready to come out, will have pretty much slowed down to a halt. So a lot of times you hear people come around and say, leave Amber alone. And even people on Johnny's side, even people who think they're doing the right thing. But I'm not saying make fun of her. I've said over and over, I don't like turd jokes, things like that. Yeah, occasionally. But not so much. However, if it's actual regular criticism about the facts, it's mature, it's adult like, put it out there. If you leave Amber alone, what's going to happen is people will forget. And in some cases, they'll forgive. And in some cases, they won't care and they'll just see the movie. So I think the best thing to do is, of course, cover other things that come up. Harry, Meghan, Andrew Tate's big in the news, whatever it is at the time, absolutely cover it. But it's always good to mix in some Amber news and reminders of the actual facts of what's going on for the general passerby and things like that. Because the strategy is for everybody to back off, leave her alone, so she could kind of inch her way back into the business. Or at least that's what they're going to try to do. I'm not saying they know it's going to work 100%. It's not set in stone. It's not a rock solid plan, but it's something. And I think that's what they're trying to do. And I think someone told Amber that. They sat her down. They said, look, Amber, you know what? Don't get back on Instagram. Don't post pictures of your baby so much. Don't fight it anymore. Just stay silent and they'll run out of content. They'll run out of things to say. They'll run out of material. And then you could kind of start to work your way back in as people forget. You got to remember, Aquaman 2 is probably the last hope she has for inching back in there. And if it does good, well, it seems those chances might not be that bad. Now you might be wondering, all right, what's the point? What do we do? Well, right now, I don't have it all figured out, but I know the first step is to keep up the mature, factual criticism. Jokes, things like that, it's the internet, they'll get around, but I can't condone that. And I'd love to joke around. Hell, I'd love to have a whole joke channel where I make turd jokes. I make stepped on my bee jokes. Excuse me. My dog stepped on a bee jokes. You know, whatever. Shits and giggles the whole time. But that won't accomplish much. And it's just something that's not going to be respected anyway. So even though I don't like being serious, in this case, it's got to be done. Got to be serious. Take one for the team. Anyway, those are my rough thoughts so far. Let me know what you think down below. Usually I cover articles, things like that, but once in a while I figured I'd just throw some thoughts out there as I'm thinking about things. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.